Good morning from France. So we arrived in Toulouse yesterday and it is obviously very, very warm. But we just spent the evening getting some food and getting some groceries. And today we're going to head over to Carcassonne. But not directly, we're going to go south to Lourdes and then through Foix and then Mirepoix and then up to Carcassonne. So we're going to be driving through the Pyrenees mountains and hopefully it will be a little bit colder. But I'm really excited to see some of the French countryside. So I'll take you along. So we headed southwest from Toulouse and at first everything was very dry and yellow, but the closer we got to the Pyrenees mountains, the greener everything got on our way to our destination of Lourdes. So we found some hills, we found some clouds, and we even found a little bit of rain. And apparently the water you can get from a spring in Lourdes has some healing qualities. So we got a little bit and drank some and took some home. I can't say that I've managed to feel any different yet, but we just have to believe in it, I guess. After a full morning of driving, we stopped in Saint-Gondon for our lunch break, and it was such a beautiful village and we really enjoyed our stop here. Our next pit stop was a village called Saint-Lizier. So we didn't actually have this on the radar at first, but we just stopped here because we felt like we needed a break and there were so many cats here, and you guys know we are cat people, so this was an absolute highlight to our travel. Then we spent some time walking around Foix, which had this beautiful castle, and funny enough it actually reminds me a little bit of Bielefeld Castle, which is where I used to go to university. Our last stop for the day was a village called Mirepoix. So this had a really stunning medieval market square. So we just spent a little bit of time sitting around here, getting some ice cream and enjoying the very last of our travels for the day. And then we made it to our final destination of the day, which is Carcassonne. And what really stuck with me about the city are those little bunting things that are hanging around everywhere over the little streets. We checked into our Airbnb and spent the night having some food and walking around the city a little bit more and enjoying our first night. morning from Carcassonne. So we are in our Airbnb now and it is genuinely so beautiful. We've got fireplaces in every single room and super high ceilings, and the entire front of the Airbnb has a little balcony that runs along the side of the building. So I wouldn't mind staying here for a very long time. Alas, we only have 2 days, so we're going to go out and explore Carcassonne today before the expedition concert is happening tonight. And I am dressed in Voria today, and I'm wearing my little homemade dress, and I'm obviously also wearing my beret. I hope I don't look like I'm just cosplaying a French person, but I love wearing berets. So again, I feel like when in France, kind of have to do all these things. And so far, talking to French people has been rather awkward, if I have to be honest. I actually learned French in high school for 4 years. I wasn't good at it. I feel like English just kind of stuck, but French just was never my language. So being here now, I can read many things, but I just can't really communicate. So it's been a little bit awkward, and I feel like I should really be speaking French better. But you know, it's just a matter of asking people in French whether they speak English or German, and them saying not really, and then just trying to somehow point at things and somehow communicate what it is we want. But it reminds me a little bit of what my grandpa used to talk about his travels right after the war, and he'd talk about how he wouldn't speak anything but German, and he just kind of tried to communicate with his hands and feet, and like somehow managed to get along. So I'm just trying to channel my grandpa's mentality and think about creative ways of trying to communicate with people. But I'm very excited to go out and explore Carcassonne today, and I'll take you along, obviously. In the morning, we headed to the medieval city of Carcassonne, even though we were about to come back at nighttime as well, because that's where the expedition concert is going to take place. But we just wanted to see it already and went all the way up this hill. It was really hot, but also very windy, and we got to see a little bit of the old city. Hear me out, I was so excited because they were already doing the sound check for Expedition. My ice cream, like it's a drink. After a morning of exploration and crepes, we ended up heading back to our Airbnb so we could change into our baguette outfits. And when I say our, I mean mine, because Jack didn't have one yet, so we had to drive out to a shopping center and get him a striped shirt so he would fit in with all of the other expedition fans. Showing them. Then after Jack had a cassoulet for dinner, which is apparently a traditional Carcassonne dish, we got in line for the expedition concert, and I was so excited. There were so many people in baguette outfits and the mood was already so great, and I was really excited to see Alice and Lorient in person. And I'm just gonna stop talking now so you guys can enjoy some of the snippets I filmed of the performance. Good morning from Carcassonne. So this is our very last morning here. We are heading back to Toulouse today and went to bed quite late yesterday after the expedition concert, but it was genuinely so good. It was definitely worth coming all the way to France for. But today we're just gonna be traveling back through a few small towns and just making our way because we have to travel back from Toulouse tomorrow morning quite early. So let's come along as we enjoy the last day in France. On that morning, we went for a visit to the small town of Montolieu, which is apparently France's book town. So there is a surprisingly large amount of bookshops here, which are all kind of vintagey little bookshops, really cute and absolutely worth a visit. Though I would say if you come for a visit, check when the bookshops are opening because they all open rather late. So we were here a little bit early and some were still closed, so we had to just walk around a little bit and say hi to a cat before we were able to actually go in and buy some vintage books. Then we dropped off our car and we went into the city center of Toulouse, and let me tell you, it was absolutely scorchingly hot. But I found a little fabric shop, so that made it worth my trouble. And then even more excitingly, I found a bookshop that only sells romantasy. Like, what is going on? And all of the books were so stunning. Good morning everyone, so we're back in Toulouse now and we spent our last night in the hotel where we started out from, so this might look familiar again. And we're just about to head back to the airport and take our 2 flights back to Scotland. And I have to say, as much as I enjoyed Expedition and France, I'm really glad to go back into normal weather. Because yesterday, especially here in Toulouse, it feels way hotter than it did in the countryside. And I did not do well with that. I was feeling so nauseous and dizzy and unwell the entire night, and I'm really glad that it's 15 degrees at home and rainy and that I will not have to see the sun for a very long time. So let's head back to the airport and let's go home.
Everyone's excited.
Oh, is that you? Archie! Archie! I am back in Scotland, so I thought we'd get together one last time and talk a little bit about how I felt about France. The croissants were amazing. I am a big fan of croissants, but I've never once eaten croissants this good. So the ones that we bought in Carcassonne from the bakery, I can't stop talking about them. They were amazing. As for the general country, France is absolutely beautiful. Like, all of these little towns are so stunning, and I feel like coming from Scotland, where I moved to because the country is so beautiful, I was really surprised by how beautiful all of these little towns are. There's just not a lot of ugly new builds in them. I feel like in Scotland you'd have a really lovely little city, and then you're just like, oh, how about we put a high-rise block next to it? So that didn't happen at all. So all of these little cities that we visited in the Pyrenees mountains were just all really beautiful and so picturesque. So I really enjoyed that. And even though there was some wear and tear on those buildings as well, but it looked more charming rather than run down. So everything was just generally so beautiful. So I really can recommend visiting that area. The one thing, coming from Scotland and being acclimated to the weather we get here, it was just too hot. It was unbearably hot, and I'm saying that knowing farewell, there was a heat wave before and after we got there. So we actually got the 30-degree weather, but it was just too hot. Like, I was feeling really unwell some of the days. So going to the Pyrenees mountains was actually really lovely because it was cloudy, it was cold, it was even slightly rainy. And when I say cold, I mean like low 20s. That's still warm for me, but it wasn't like hot. So that day was probably my favorite day, where we were just driving around and visiting all of these little villages, and it was bearable and it was windy and it was really, really nice. I also really loved Carcassonne. I feel like it was just the perfect balance of like this Victorian, Edwardian town center and the medieval city that's next to it that was very touristy, but in a super charming way. So really enjoyed our time in Carcassonne, and I was happy that we got 2 nights there. The apartment we stayed in was stunning. Like, I could have spent weeks there. I would have loved to just have my breakfast on the balcony, and there was actually a little pigeon nest on the balcony. We kept seeing the baby birds. It was honestly so lovely. And something that I really appreciated about Carcassonne was that there were not really any big brands within the city. Like that time when we decided that Jack needed a last-minute baguette outfit, we actually had to drive out to one of the bigger shopping centers because all of the little shops within Carcassonne were kind of just like small shops rather than big brands. So I feel like that is something I think in the UK we should definitely do. Like, we don't need 15 Primarks in Glasgow. What happened to small independent businesses? So I really appreciated that. I thought it was really cute, and just generally Carcassonne was a really great experience. But I have to admit, going back to Toulouse on the last day, I didn't enjoy. So that might also just be because Toulouse is really big and I am a small town girly. So it was just a little bit overwhelming. It was really, really hot. It didn't actually say it was hotter than it had been the days before, but I was genuinely so unwell. I was nauseous, I was dizzy, I was just walking from shadow to shadow, drinking liters and liters of water. And Jack was very eager to do some more exploring, but I was just like, I feel so unwell. I just want to lie down. So could have probably been more enjoyable in winter, but still really appreciate that romanticy bookshop. They do have English books as well. I even bought one. And obviously that fabric shop as well was really lovely. And I've got my Croissant fabric just behind the camera. So that's going to be my next sewing project. So in final conclusion, would I go to France again? Yes. In summer? No, probably not. Unless it was for the expedition concert. So I think the concert was genuinely so stunning, and I know Alice is now on maternity leave and you can't see her live anymore, but honestly, if you're an expedition fan, this is such an amazing experience. Just seeing so many people in baguette outfits, it's just, I loved it. And all of the costumes, there were so many girls wearing Clair outfits and they all looked amazing. There was this one girl wearing a Sophie costume, and I was just feeling like I should have done more than doing a baguette outfit. So if expedition ever came somewhere closer to where I live, or somewhere where it's colder, I would definitely go for a bigger costume. I feel like the girl wearing the ski outfit was so amazing and people were so excited about it, and I just love spending time with people who share my fandom. So this was just an all over amazing experience. When they played Une vie à t'aimer, I didn't film it because I just wanted to experience it. I was genuinely crying. I love this so very much, and if you haven't engaged with Expedition yet, what are you doing? This is your wake-up call. Play it now, watch a playthrough or anything, just listen to the music. It is genuinely life-changing. So that is the end of my video. If you've come this far, thank you very much. I will see you in the next video sewing, let me show you, the croissant fabric. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to make myself a little t-shirt because I was planning to buy more t-shirts and I never got a chance. So realizing that now summer is actually arriving in Scotland again, I'm going to make something small from this, and I'll make a little matching bandana for Archie from it. So very excited about this. As you can tell, I'm just like, everything I do is now somehow French inspired. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video where we're sewing again. So bye bye.